There comes a juncture in life, a delicate turning point, where the dynamics between parents and their grown children begin to subtly shift. Decades have been spent nurturing, guiding, and selflessly sacrificing, yet a disquieting realization dawns. The landscape of respect has changed. Perhaps your counsel is met with indifference, your opinions dismissed with a dismissive wave, or, more painfully, you sense that you are perceived as a burden. This shift, this subtle erosion of the respect you rightfully deserve, can evoke a cascade of emotions: frustration, anger, a deep sense of hurt. You might feel an urge to recount every sacrifice, every act of love, every moment you placed their needs before your own. However, let me share a crucial piece of health wisdom. Anger and resentment are not the solutions. In fact, they often exacerbate the problem, widening the chasm of misunderstanding. Instead, there exists a more effective path to reclaiming their respect, a path that eschews confrontation and fosters genuine understanding. Today, we'll explore 6 powerful strategies, subtle yet transformative shifts in your approach that can redefine the way your children perceive you. These insights may challenge conventional wisdom, but by the end of this journey, you'll understand how to reclaim your rightful place as a respected and valued figure in their lives. The first transformative action involves relinquishing the pursuit of their approval. Often, as parents age, they unconsciously strive to please their children, bending over backwards to accommodate their desires, saying yes when their inner voice screams no, and consistently placing their children's needs above their own. This stems from a deep-seated desire for validation, a hope that by doing enough, they'll earn their children's appreciation. However, the harsh reality is that the more you chase their approval, the less they respect you. Genuine respect isn't earned through self-sacrifice, it's cultivated through self-respect. If you consistently compromise your own needs, you inadvertently communicate that your feelings are secondary, creating a dynamic where they take you for granted. A woman named Patricia, once a pillar of strength and independence, gradually relinquished her autonomy as she aged, allowing her children to dictate her schedule, suppress her opinions, and dismiss her concerns. Her desire to maintain familial harmony led her to silence her own voice, and her children, in turn, began to view her as someone whose needs were perpetually negotiable. If your children don't respect you, the first step is to reclaim your self-respect. Set boundaries, assert your needs, and speak your truth, even if it elicits discomfort. By valuing yourself, you'll compel them to see you in a new light, and in time, the respect will follow suit. Expanding on the concept of ceasing the pursuit of approval, it's crucial to understand that this isn't about becoming cold or indifferent. It's about cultivating a strong sense of self-worth that isn't contingent on external validation. It's about recognizing that your value as a person isn't diminished by your children's opinions or actions. This shift in mindset requires introspection and self-compassion. Consider journaling, meditation, or engaging in activities that nurture your self-esteem. Rekindle old passions, explore new hobbies, and rediscover the aspects of yourself that bring you joy. When you radiate self-assurance, your children will perceive a subtle but profound change in your demeanor. They'll witness a person who isn't defined by their approval, and this newfound independence will command their respect. The second crucial action involves leading by example, rather than engaging in fruitless arguments. When your children dismiss your opinions, interrupt your conversations, or treat you with disrespect, your initial instinct may be to retaliate, to demand they acknowledge your contributions. However, years of experience will teach you that arguing rarely yields positive results. Respect isn't won through verbal battles, it's earned through your presence, your composure, and your ability to maintain your dignity in the face of provocation. If you respond to disrespect with anger, you inadvertently reinforce their perception that they hold power over you. A man named Arthur, a retired lawyer, found his grown children treating him with indifference, dismissing his concerns and mocking his attempts to offer advice. Initially, he engaged in heated arguments, attempting to prove his worth, but his efforts only exacerbated the situation. He then adopted a different approach, listening attentively, speaking with wisdom and calm, and refusing to engage in petty disputes. His children, witnessing his unwavering dignity, began to perceive him as a figure of strength and wisdom. If your children don't respect you, don't engage in futile arguments. Instead, demonstrate what respect looks like through your actions, upholding your dignity and refusing to stoop to their level. Regarding leading by example, it's essential to understand that this isn't about passive acceptance. It's about demonstrating the kind of behavior you expect in return. Practice active listening, truly hearing what your children have to say, even if you disagree. Respond with empathy and understanding, even when they're being disrespectful. Model the kind of communication you desire, speaking calmly, respectfully, and assertively. Show them that you value your own time and boundaries by setting clear limits and adhering to them. If they interrupt you, calmly state that you'll continue when they're ready to listen. If they dismiss your opinions, acknowledge their perspective, but firmly assert your own. This consistent demonstration of respectful behavior will eventually influence their own. The third transformative action involves withdrawing your emotional dependence. As you age, you must accept that your children cannot be your sole source of emotional fulfillment. While you may deeply cherish their love and respect, relying on them for validation creates an imbalance of power. People, even your own children, respect those who are emotionally independent. When you seek their validation, you place undue pressure on them, leading to resentment and emotional distance. A woman named Eleanor, who had devoted her life to her children, found herself increasingly isolated as they became preoccupied with their own lives. Her constant phone calls and pleas for attention only pushed them further away. She then shifted her focus, pursuing new hobbies, reconnecting with friends, and prioritizing her own happiness. This newfound independence drew her children back, as they began to respect her time and admire her self-sufficiency. When it comes to withdrawing emotional dependence, it's vital to create a support system beyond your children. This might involve reconnecting with old friends, joining social groups, or seeking professional counseling. Cultivate a network of people who value your company and provide emotional support. Explore activities that bring you joy and fulfillment, whether it's volunteering, pursuing artistic endeavors, or engaging in community events. Remember that you have a right to happiness and fulfillment, independent of your children's involvement. This newfound emotional independence will not only improve your well-being, but also subtly shift the dynamics of your relationship with your children. They'll perceive you as a person with a rich and fulfilling life, and this will naturally command their respect. The fourth action involves setting and enforcing clear boundaries. Allowing your children to disrespect you will only perpetuate the behavior. People, including family, will treat you the way you allow them to. Setting boundaries isn't about severing ties. It's about calmly and firmly communicating what behavior is unacceptable and enforcing those boundaries when they're crossed. A man named Samuel, a retired businessman, struggled with his adult children's dismissive behavior. He then adopted a firm but respectful approach, refusing to tolerate interruptions or dismissive comments. His children, initially resistant, eventually recognized his unwavering resolve and began to treat him with respect. Setting and enforcing boundaries requires consistency and clarity. Clearly communicate your expectations and calmly but firmly enforce the consequences when those boundaries are crossed. Avoid emotional outbursts or threats. Instead, focus on clear, concise statements that outline the unacceptable behavior and the resulting consequences. For instance, if your children consistently interrupt you, state that you'll end the conversation if they continue. If they dismiss your opinions, state that you expect to be treated with respect, even if they disagree. Remember that setting boundaries is an act of self-respect, not aggression. It communicates that you value your time and well-being, and it ultimately fosters healthier relationships. The fifth action involves ending the pattern of giving without appreciation. Continuously giving to those who don't acknowledge your efforts breeds entitlement, not respect. Your kindness becomes an expectation, not a gift. A man named Henry, who had always been overly generous with his children, found himself taken for granted. He then shifted his approach, offering assistance only when genuinely needed and saying no when appropriate. This newfound restraint led his children to appreciate his generosity. Regarding stopping the pattern of giving without appreciation, it's crucial to distinguish between genuine acts of love and enabling behavior. Offering assistance when truly needed is an act of love, but consistently bailing your children out of their own responsibilities creates a dynamic of entitlement. Learn to say no when appropriate and encourage your children to develop their own problem-solving skills. When you do offer assistance, do so with clear expectations of gratitude and reciprocity. This doesn't mean keeping score, but it does mean expecting basic courtesy and acknowledgement. The sixth and final action involves cultivating a fulfilling life outside of your children. While it's natural to prioritize them, they must see that your happiness doesn't revolve solely around them. People respect those who have their own interests and passions. A woman named Dorothy, a widow, initially relied on her children for emotional support, but her constant presence overwhelmed them. By pursuing her own interests, she rediscovered her independence, drawing her children back with newfound respect. Cultivating a life outside of your children involves rediscovering your passions and pursuing new interests. Explore activities that bring you joy and fulfillment, whether it's traveling, learning a new language, or joining a book club. Engage in volunteer work, contribute to your community, and build meaningful connections with people who share your interests. Remember that you have a right to a fulfilling life, independent of your children's involvement. This newfound sense of purpose and independence will not only enrich your own life, but also subtly shift the dynamics of your relationship with your children. They'll perceive you as a person with a rich and vibrant life, and this will naturally command their respect. These 6 actions, when implemented with consistency and self-compassion, can transform your relationships with your adult children. They'll perceive a shift in your demeanor, a newfound sense of self-assurance, and a refusal to tolerate disrespect. This transformation won't happen overnight, but with patience and perseverance, you can reclaim your rightful place as a respected and valued figure in their lives. Remember, this journey is about self-empowerment, not about manipulating your children's behavior. It's about reclaiming your voice, setting healthy boundaries, and cultivating a life that brings you joy and fulfillment. As you embark on this journey, remember to be kind to yourself, to celebrate your progress, and to embrace the wisdom that comes with age. Share your experiences in the comments below, and let's build a community of support and understanding. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, helping us create content that empowers and inspires.